so much for coming back to hang out with us for another episode.
Hi.
Cynthia and I are actually really excited because today we are filming episode 20.
Wow, I
Yay.
can't even believe it that we are at number 20.
Yeah, I mean, we're still even
That's
shocked that we
amazing.
figured out how to even do a
this.
podcast. And so we try to pat ourselves on the back, but
Yeah.
trust me, we do beat ourselves up a lot. But today's episode, number 20, is going to be talking about our trip to Las Vegas.
Woohoo! We had so much fun.
We did, and we can't wait to tell you guys about all we say shenanigans, so
Yeah, right.
all the shenanigans that happened, all the silly things, all the crazy things, the coincidences, like our outfits. We did not call each other.
No.
There was no memo sent out
No
that we're
memo.
going to wear leopard print today.
Yeah, and
but
we're like coordinating.
yeah, mine's got a little leopard here and on the wrist, and so anyways, when I opened the front door this morning, when she came over, I was like, oh my gosh, we're both wearing leopard print. And it's cute because one of my best friends from like 3rd grade, hi Sherry, she was like, I think it's really cute how you guys coordinate your outfits. Because do you remember that one day you were wearing that burgundy sweater that has the large knit?
Mhm.
It was the same day I was wearing the black one with the
Yes.
large knit.
Yep.
And so anyways, I guess great minds
And
think
yeah,
alike.
because we do not coordinate. We
No.
don't ever know what each other is wearing that
No,
day. So,
totally not. I even
yeah.
told Sherry, I'm like, thank you so much for the compliment, but we do not coordinate. Like, I think we're such good friends that we actually like a lot of the same things.
We're like on the same wavelength.
Yes, because we kind of morph into each other a little bit. She's like, oh, I like that polish. And I'm like, oh, I like that ring, or whatever. So we might be kind of morphing a little bit,
Gosh.
unknowingly.
We're going to turn into one.
Yes, right? Oh my gosh. So anyhow, when we were getting ready to film today's episode, we always like to come up with a funny or cute or catchy episode title. And to be honest, some of the really fun parts about doing this podcast is coming up with the funny names. And then, of course, we take that silly picture, which, if you guys don't know, it's called a thumbnail. It's basically the little cover art to each video episode that we're filming. And so we try to incorporate something kind of cute and kind of funny.
Kind of catchy.
Yeah, and so we crack ourselves up doing those
We
stupid
do.
pictures. Sometimes we're laughing so hard we need to
Oh my gosh.
stop laughing so we can try a retake, you know?
Yes, like belly, like the deep belly laughs we have.
Yeah, like you guys, if you have not caught the day trip disaster, you need to go
Oh,
back to
gosh.
that one because it was so funny because she got really nauseous on that day trip to Nevada City. And so
Yeah.
our little thumbnail cover art picture was her like pretending to throw up anyways.
Yeah.
So that one made me belly laugh for
But
a little while.
This trip was way funner.
Yes!
than
We're in
that trip.
Vegas, baby, Vegas. And so we had
Yes.
actually thought about naming the episode Vegas, Baby, Vegas. And actually, we can't cram our 5-day trip into one episode. So we're going to be talking about this more on the next podcast. But we decided to name this episode Viva Las Vegas.
Yes.
Because we love Elvis Presley, and he had a movie named Viva Las Vegas. And so we wrote it down as one of the ones we were going to consider. And then I was like, Cynthia, what does Viva mean?
I know. And so I totally looked that up. And Viva is actually like, it means like long live Vegas. So Viva Las Vegas is long live Vegas. And then if you, Vegas is actually a Spanish word
Yeah,
also.
translate Las
Yeah.
Vegas are 2 more Spanish words.
Right. And Vegas actually means meadow, which I never knew.
No,
So,
I know. I thought
yeah.
that was like so
Interesting.
fascinating.
it
Yeah, like
was.
very unique. And
Yeah,
so,
because I definitely don't think of Las Vegas as a meadow.
No.
It is like the
a
desert.
desert. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely
So
isn't
I don't
green
know
and
why
lush.
Vegas, translates to meadow, but it actually does mean long live the meadows.
Yeah.
Or as most people would say, it's long live Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, which we thought that was a startling statistic.
Yes, you know how we love our startling
Uh-huh.
statistics.
So that was, anyway, that was
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
interesting.
I
Yes.
always like to learn something new, and it seems like every time we're filming and we're doing research on stuff, I'm like, who knew?
I know. We're just
I
going to be
didn't
so
know.
smart. We're just going to not be able to stand ourselves
I
pretty
know.
soon.
know. Oh
But
my gosh,
gosh.
that's funny.
But we started off the day early in the morning.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we had a pretty early flight.
Yeah, and John, her
So-
husband, was so sweet. He's like, don't leave your car at the airport and pay for parking.
Yeah.
Let me just get up early and we'll pick up Marilyn because we only live a couple miles from each other. And so off we dashed.
Off we went in the morning.
Yeah.
Off to the airport. And it was a super nice day, so that was really good.
Yeah.
And so I actually have, I can get us into the, oh wait, so when first we were checking in though. And that's when that lady came up and was it at security?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at security.
We've gone through security. You
Yeah.
were putting on your
I was
tennis shoes.
putting on my tennis shoes. That's right. And she comes up and asks, did she just come up to ask? I'm
Well,
trying to remember the scenario.
No, it was so funny because you were focused on putting on your shoes.
Yes.
I was wearing flip-flops,
Yeah.
so I just had slipped them back on.
Yeah.
So I was waiting for her to put her tennis shoes on, and I'm just watching everybody come through the security line just like we did. And a lady literally, was over there going that direction, and she looked over and she saw both of us, and she got out of this little line that was walking, out of the security checkpoint, and she goes, "Are you guys sisters?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, we haven't even
Left the
flown
airport yet."
Yeah, we're still in the airport, and literally we're already getting asked if we're sisters.
sisters,
And we've
yeah.
talked about this on other podcasts.
Yes,
That
yes.
I spent 5 days in Pismo Beach with my twin sister, and not one person asked if her and I were even sisters, let alone ask if we're twins.
So crazy. to
And
me.
then I'm on vacation with one of my best friends, and they think we're sisters every time we're together.
Yeah, I'm always amazed at that. And then we just cracked up. 'Cause
Yeah.
We're like, we haven't even left the airport yet, and somebody's already asked us if we're sisters, right?
Yeah, which
But
is funny.
that was the only time.
Yes, because I'm like, this is going to be something that's going to happen for
Like 50 times.
Yeah, 50 times on this trip. And because it happened so quickly. And then not one person.
Never asked
The
again.
rest of the trip, nobody asked. So anyways, I guess we got it out of the way.
Yeah.
But it's so cool
So
because
that was funny.
Yeah, like she was saying, she has an American Express card. And do you remember the last time we flew?
Yeah, the last time we went to, actually, was it Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was all excited and telling her, ooh, we can go to the American Express Lounge and we can go have, free little breakfast. and
Yes.
You can have a drink if you want.
Live like
and-
whoop-de-doo.
Yeah. And we get up there and I had changed into my little purse and I'm like, oh, crap. I forgot my American Express card.
I mean, talk about
Because I switched out, stuff that I didn't need.
Yes. Yeah, it was a little
Anyway,
bit of a
That
womp
was
womp
a wah-wah.
womp.
Yeah, that was a womp moment.
But that's okay, because I was
But-
like, we still have the whole trip to Vegas to look
But
forward to.
this
but
time,
this time.
I said I gotta make sure
Yeah.
I got my American Express
And
platinum.
it was so cute, too, because when I jumped in you and John's car
Yeah.
to go to the airport, you were like,
I have
don't
it."
worry, I brought my American Express card this time.
We're gonna have fun before we even leave.
Yeah, I was so excited. I've never done that. Like, I have a bunch of credit cards, but I don't have anything that gets me, access to a special lounge.
Well, that's the only one I
I
have.
know. Sometimes I even think when I'm at the Galleria, I should just go into that Capital One
Yeah,
lounge.
I have that Capital
Because I
One
do
card.
have that.
We should do that someday.
I know.
Just to check it out.
I know.
and
I'm
see
such
what
a
it's
Starbucks
like.
lover, but I would do that just for the experience.
I know. Just
Try
to
a mocha from somewhere
see
else.
what it's like.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, that'll be on
for
our
free or,
bucket list.
Yeah. Capital One Cafe.
Oh Lord.
But anyway, so we did get in this time.
Yeah.
And we went out and sat at the bar.
Yeah.
First we went to sit at a table. Then we went out and sat at the bar, which is funner because, and I know that's not a word, but I like that word.
I know.
Because there's
Autocorrect.
people,
Yeah.
people that we can talk to, and
And
of
people are
course-
drinking too.
Yeah, that's
at the
true.
bar.
Yeah,
So then they're
people are
always
getting mimosas and Bloody Marys,
Yeah.
and all that. And I'm
Well,
thinking,
and I literally, again, like we did when we were in Reno.
yeah, she didn't
I
know it was free.
pulled out money because I'm thinking, I'm sure the alcohol is not included in, the lounge,
Yeah.
complimentary stuff. And so the guy was like, what are you having? And I'm like, I wasn't planning on drinking at,
Yeah.
what time was it, 8 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, maybe 9.
9? Okay, yeah. But I'm like, well, maybe a mimosa. I mean,
Yeah.
we drink those in the morning. So
Yeah.
I was like, I'll have a mimosa. And I reached out and I grabbed a 20. And he's like, oh, you saw me do
told
that.
you,
Because
yeah.
you're like, it's all free.
It's
and I was
free,
like, what?
just give them a tip. Just leave a tip.
Yeah. So I did that. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
always funner because people are always a little more lively around the bar.
Yeah, and you're more apt to talk to people because they're right there. They're not at a whole different table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was kind of cool because we started talking to people as usual, and so, I talked to the girl to the right of me, and then there was another girl to the left of me, and then there was a guy on the left of Marilyn.
Yeah.
And she was talking with him. He was like
He was the owner of Economy Heating and Air.
That's right.
And he said he was going to start watching our podcast.
Oh, you bet.
Yeah, so, hi, Terry. So, that was super fun.
Yeah.
And then you got to talking.
Well, I did. I started talking to this one girl, and then it ended up we started having all these things in common with our husbands. And we're like, oh, that's weird, blah, blah, blah. We didn't put the connection, though, all the way together until we were standing actually in line to get into the airplane.
Right.
And for some reason, I don't know, we were standing close to each other, and we started talking again, and she was saying, yeah, my husband, works for this company, and I'm like, yeah, my husband works for this company, and then she said, yeah, and then he works, with a couple of friends that I know, and I'm like, well, I know them too. Well, anyway, so she ends up texting her husband, do you know John? And so he goes, yeah. He goes, we were just talking yesterday about how it was funny that both our wives were flying to Las Vegas with girlfriends.
Yeah, on the same day.
Yeah, on the same day.
Yeah.
And they didn't even know that we were on the same flight.
Yeah.
And that we ran into each other at the American Express Lounge.
Yeah. And then she's like right behind us in line to board the plane.
And then she was like, hey, she was like, where you guys staying? We're staying at the Cosmo. And she goes, so am I. So we even talked about sharing a taxi or Uber over from the airport to the hotel.
Right.
But we never found her again.
Yeah.
And do you know, we never saw her the entire time we were there.
I was thinking about that this weekend.
Saw her again.
Yeah, because we were literally in the same hotel. We kept running into her at the airport, and then we never saw her again.
I never saw her again. And then my husband did say he did talk to her husband like the day after to say, wow, that's funny that our wives actually ran into each other and figured out, that they knew each other. It was just kind of weird.
Very small world.
Yeah, totally small world. You just never know, so you can never say anything bad about people.
No, it is so true, especially when you're at a bar.
You just do not know, right?
Because you get a little liquid courage and you get all talky-talky, and then, you can't talk smack about anybody. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So
anyway. so that was fun, because we had something to eat, we had a couple of drinks, we said our goodbyes, and we get on the... No, we stopped by the ladies' room.
Yeah. Oh, we did do a stop so that we wouldn't have to go to the bathroom on the
Yes,
airplane.
and
you're right. And I'm washing my hands, and for the second time, I find rings sitting right there on the sink.
Can I just make this like a little public service announcement? Do not take off your rings when you're in a public bathroom to wash your hands.
I know.
It happens so often.
It does.
Like, I get it. You're at home, you're washing your hands and putting on lotion, and you don't want to get it all over your rings. But, like, when you're in a public restroom...
just leave them on.
Leave them on. Because it was so painful. When she found those rings, she's like, I just found these 2 rings, and they were darling rings. Like, I think sterling silver.
Oh, I don't
something.
know. But
I'm not sure.
They were like one was like...
had a stone.
Had a turquoise. It was a turquoise stone, and then the other one was like a plain one, but... I just felt so bad because I just know, like, my rings are not like anything super expensive other than my wedding ring.
Yeah, but
if I
value.
I would totally be upset if I took it off and washed my hands and then realized I left them in there.
Especially starting off a trip,
Yeah.
like on a bad note.
Hopefully she was coming home.
Well, hopefully that.
Yeah.
Cynthia did leave them, so if you're watching the podcast,
I took them.
You left them with the airport.
Oh yeah, I took them over to the to a front desk.
Yeah.
Over at Southwest.
Oh, I meant you didn't keep them.
Oh no,
That's what I was trying to say.
I didn't keep them.
You left them with someone at the airport,
hoping that they would, maybe a lost and found or something that they could, if they called or whatever, they could get them back.
Yeah.
So
I just felt super
hopefully
bad.
the girl got her 2 little rings back. I hope so.
Yeah. Hopefully. That was crazy.
Yeah.
So anyways.
And we were, because I had forgotten the day before to check in on Southwest, and I was so mad at myself.
Well, she was getting her nails done, and I got a text message, and she's the one who booked our trip. But you used my Southwest number or account number or whatever.
I used mine too.
Yeah, but it notified me, and it didn't notify her. So I am just working on stuff in the office, and I get a text message, and it was Southwest, and it says your, flight check-in time is like
Is now.
Yeah, it's like now. So I called her because I thought, I don't want to text her. So I called her, and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "I just got a notification from Southwest. We're supposed to check in. I just wanted to make sure." And she was like, "Oh shoot, I'm at my nail salon." So
I'm like, dang it.
anyhow, she did that really fast. So
so we get C, of course.
yeah, we didn't get the A or the B.
Yeah, so I was bummed because I thought, oh my gosh, are we not going to be able to sit next to each other? Because I'm a window seat girl, and I'm kind of like, well, I'm really sorry, but if there's a free window, I'm just going to take it.
Yeah, because we may not get to sit together.
Yeah, and she was like, I can handle sitting in the middle.
Yeah,
because it's a short flight.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, we can go far enough back and see if we saw it. So anyway, we got.
But not too far back because you don't want to be close to the bathroom.
No, because you don't want
I didn't think
smell
about
that.
I've never sat close enough to the bathroom to smell it.
You don't want to. You don't want to.
That's funny.
And not to mention, when you sit at the very, very back, your seat is like straight up.
Oh,
to the wall.
Because it doesn't recline.
And not that I hardly ever recline my seat.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like that person behind me has no room
Yeah,
whatsoever.
there's already hardly any room.
Yeah, it's already tight. But that one is like straight up. And it's like, so you have the straight up chair, and then every time someone goes in and out, you get that smell, and it's like, I don't want that smell. But anyway, so we got super lucky.
Yeah.
And we got to sit right next to each other, and I got a window, and we flew to Las Vegas.
It was so great.
Yeah, fast flight.
Yeah.
Hour and 10.
And we were staying at the Cosmopolitan, which she introduced me to that. What was that, like 5 years ago or so when you and I went to Vegas?
I think it was 3 years ago.
3 years ago?
Last time we went,
Oh,
3 or
so
4
it
years
had to
ago.
be a little more than that because 3 years ago I went with Stephen Braden, and because you had taken me to the Cosmo.
Yeah.
So the Cosmopolitan has balconies on the hotel rooms.
Like the best thing about it.
Yes.
I mean, I like it, period.
Yeah.
But because their rooms are super
And
cool.
it's just a gorgeous, for lack of a better word, like a very sexy, contemporary. It's just very vibey and
yeah, it's a super cool hotel.
very sophisticated.
Yeah. We really like it. We really like it.
So we had tried.
Well, so when I booked the room, I was trying to do it online, and I should have just called from day one, but I was trying to do it online, and it had showed the rooms that I could get for a comp amount. I only was having to pay the resort fee. And so it showed 3 rooms that were available, and one of them was just a regular 2-bed city room with no balcony, and then the other was 2 more, and those both had, they call them terrace rooms.
Yeah.
So,
terrace,
but they both had
fancier.
just 1 bed. And so I thought, oh, well, me and her could sleep in the same bed, and that would be fine as long as we get a balcony.
Yeah.
Well, as I tried to book it, it wouldn't let me book it. It wouldn't take. So then the only one I could book was the one with the 2 beds without the terrace.
Yeah, just a city view.
Yeah, with the city view. No, it actually was a fountain view.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fountain view.
That's right.
So,
and
anyway.
that's a Bellagio fountain, if you guys
Yes,
are
the Bellagio
familiar.
Fountains
The Cosmopolitan
and the Sphere.
Yeah, the Cosmopolitan is
Sphere.
like very
Next
close
door.
to the Bellagio, so you can see all the dancing waters, and then that new sphere that they built. It has like a
cool.
light show going on inside of it, and so it just like is this massive like dome.
No,
that's
it's
just
super cool. Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah. So anyway, so I booked what I could get because I thought, okay, I'm gonna at least get something. I don't want this to be gone, and then the dates are getting closer and closer.
Yeah.
And I end up with nothing because it goes by how many rooms they have left if you're even going to get a comp room.
Should we talk about this whole comp thing again? We did touch on this when we were talking about our trip to Reno.
About my demotion.
Yes. Because
Yeah. I used to get them for free.
Yeah, for free.
And now I don't get them for free
Well,
anymore.
and so help me understand.
Okay.
You used to be a platinum.
No. So at MGM, I was a gold.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I've been demoted to pearl.
Oh, okay.
So
but
are.
at Reno,
Reno
you
it's
were
different.
a platinum.
I was platinum, and now I am
Gold.
Gold.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
it's different. So
And this is because if you guys don't know, when you gamble a little bit more, you get bumped up to like a diamond.
Of course,
right?
because you're spending
Because I
the
have
money.
friends that don't gamble and they don't understand that whole
Okay.
terminology, so I know there might be other people that don't.
Right.
And so if you don't gamble as much as you used to, they will demote you.
They
so
demote
then,
you down a
yeah. So
color.
you don't even get like the whole room for free like she used to. You have to pay a resort fee, which is like $30 or $50.
Actually, I found out when I was looking at our bill, that resort fee at Cosmo's $55.
Oh, you know what's funny?
Plus
Yeah.
tax and
Yeah.
hotel, and they do like state tax, and then also do a hotel tax.
Oh.
I mean, it is like a lot.
I gave you enough money, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay, I wanted to make sure you noticed that before you told
I knew
me.
what the final bill was.
Okay.
But I thought that was a lot when I started
Yeah,
thinking about it.
I did too, because at first I was like 30, 30, 30,
Yeah,
30. And then I was like, you know what? It had to be 50, 50, 50. You know,
Well-
like $dollars a night. But then I...
No, it was almost
the tax.
probably 60 plus 30, 30, 30, 30. Because we'll talk about that.
Yes, we're
about
getting
the
to
30,
that.
Yeah. But anyway, so I booked that. I had even called. I did call, and the girl online had told me that for you to be able to change out what you had, you're going to need to empty out your entire cart. And I was so afraid I was going to end up with nothing.
Yeah. Because once you empty the cart, then that
Yeah.
room is available for somebody else.
Exactly.
And then
it
if
puts you
somebody's
back in the
online...
pool.
Yeah.
And I was so afraid that I thought, I am just going to leave it. And
Yeah.
that way I know at least we have a room. And I'm going to try to get a balcony or terrace when we get there.
Yeah. Just deal with it when we got there.
Right.
And then we're like face to face, and you can like schmooze
Right.
and kind of
try
like
to,
befriend them.
yeah.
Make
try to
them
be-
feel sorry for you. I mean, we weren't
We
above trying anything.
We tried to.
Yeah, we did. We pulled out all the stuff.
Yeah, so we did. So we got there, we took a cab,
Yeah.
got to the Cosmopolitan. So we went in there to check in, and I kind of made a little white lie, and I said, well, the girl on the phone told me to try, to ask when I got to the front desk.
Yeah.
That most likely there would be a terrace room available when we check in, and they would be able just to give us a terrace room, because it wasn't like an upgrade. It was
No.
because that's one thing that it showed that I could get.
Yeah.
Right?
It was either like a Bellagio view of the dancing waters without a balcony, or a city view with a balcony.
Yeah.
Or with a terrace.
Yeah,
So it was kind of like even, it seems,
Yeah, I can't honestly don't even remember what the view was on the online with the other one. I don't know what
see.
it was.
I see.
But so we did have this nice girl, and
Yeah.
we schmoozed as much as we could.
We did.
Schmooze.
Well, and
And-
Cynthia, she was like working. She was like, I come here all the time, and it's usually no problem. And
And
so
you, like-
I'm like starting to panic. I'm standing behind her, like just like actually, I'm kind of praying. I'm like, dear Lord,
'Cause
please
she
let us get
really,
a room.
really wants a
Yes,
terrace.
because
Yeah.
when I went with Steve and Braden, we booked the terrace room overlooking the Bellagio dancing waters, and I literally slept on the balcony every single night because there's a couch out there.
Yeah.
And it was like 110 degrees in July or August when we went. So I would get a little hot out there. So I would just come inside and lay on the couch or on the bed, for a little while. But as soon as I got cooled off again, I would go back outside
Go
and
back
sleep on
out.
the balcony.
Wow.
It's just freaking gorgeous out there. You hear the waters, and then it's just amazing. So I'm hearing her like struggling and like trying to like, work it. So I'm like reaching in my purse and I grab out a 20. I mean, if I was a high roller, I would have grabbed 100, but I'm not working, right? We remember that, right? So I grab a 20 and I'm shoving it in Cynthia's back pocket. And I'm like, do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, so I can tell she's shoving money in my back pocket. And I had even asked her, I go, well, does money even help? Would money help? And she goes, it probably wouldn't, because we just don't have any terrace rooms available right now, or, to give us.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so then I talked a little bit more, and so I pulled out the 20. I thought, okay, we're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull the 20 out and just see if maybe it does help.
Yeah.
So I pulled the 20 out, and she totally took that 20 and stuck it in her pocket. Bam, like that, man.
She did.
That was fast. And then she goes, I said, well, thank you again for trying, because she was calling again.
Yeah, she was going to call a second time.
And she was going to call another
I thought,
manager.
there's no way we're not getting the balcony room. I mean, we were so nice, and she was calling. We slipped her money. I thought for sure we had this in the bag.
We were going to get it, yeah. So anyway, then she's on there, and she's talking again. Who knows if she was really talking to anybody or just talking to
I thought
dead
that was
air.
so funny when we were talking about this later, and you're like, she could have just pretended. I'm like, oh, I never even thought about that.
Because my husband told me at work, they used to totally do that. They'd say, if somebody was complaining about something or they needed, better rate something.
Yeah.
He would go, well, you know what? Let me go ask my manager. I'm going to, do that for you. And stick them on hold, and they would go, la, 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 wait around about 3 minutes. And then, no, I'm really sorry now.
Shoot.
So anyway, she's talking, we hope, to a manager,
Right.
She hangs up the phone and she goes, I'm really sorry. She goes, but there are just no available rooms to give you. So there's no way I'm going to be able to give you a terrace room. And I'm like, oh. And I wanted to say, can we have our $20 back?
I was thinking the same thing.
Because I'm feeling bad for Marilyn. Because she had just, lost a $20 bill for nothing. I'm like, crap.
It was fine, but I was just like, I just thought, I don't know. I don't want to be mean. Because it was only $20, but, it was still $20, right?
That's a drink, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my personality would have been if I would have felt bad keeping the $20, but maybe in a different circumstance,
Oh yeah, because let me tell you, her hand was out so fast. She had the certain little pocket that she just shoved that in so fast, oh yeah, she was practiced.
Oh yeah, she's been
totally
very
practiced.
versed. Only usually she's probably handed 100, so
no, maybe 50.
Maybe 50.
A $50 bill.
I mean, there's a lot of high rollers there.
There's 20s. I'm sure there's
Okay.
20s. Yeah. Now if we had a 5,
right? At least we didn't give her a 5.
Yeah, at least we didn't do that. But anyway, so we didn't get her.
She did
Yeah,
say,
she
come
did.
back tomorrow.
Try tomorrow,
at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
Because now people are checking out. Maybe
Right.
a room would be available.
Because we did fly in on a Sunday.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so I will say there are a lot of people not checked out. The rooms aren't clean or whatever. Yeah. So, and by the time we got to the hotel, it was around noon, right? Around noon. So, yeah, things weren't all clean or whatever. So she did say, I said, oh, should I call down here? She said, no. She said, come if I were you, I'd come down here, stand in line, go to the front desk and ask, for a terrace room. Is there any way we could get it today? Yeah.
So that was the plan.
Yeah, that was
we
the
just
plan.
Figured that's what we're going to do.
So we did go up to the room, and I will say the view was beautiful.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah,
it was the Bellagio dancing water.
And that sphere just changes all night long.
Yeah.
And so that was really pretty. We did have a beautiful view.
Yeah.
So at least we got pictures.
Yeah, we're going to post
really
pictures
good,
for you guys
of the really good view.
See all the stuff we're talking about on today's episode.
Right. And then you have to make your trip to Walgreens.
Yeah.
Because you got to get, supplies. So you've got to get, water. I got to get water. She's got to get White Claw.
I need some White Claw. I'm on my vacation.
Exactly.
And they got a nice fridge in the room anyway.
Yeah, you get a fridge. So you got to make the trek over to Walgreens.
And the ginger beer or the ginger ale.
Yeah, oh, that's right. We
in
did
case
get that,
I accidentally eat garlic.
Yep.
It always helps me if I accidentally eat some garlic or anything.
And didn't you take an apple from the lounge too, at the airport? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you took an apple so that that way she had something to put in her stomach just in case she needed that. Mm-hmm. So we trucked it over to Walgreens, and coming back, luckily we found a shortcut.
Yeah. They've built all these walkways everywhere, so you're not even on the strip, or on the street, You're just going out on the second or third floor of the hotel, and it literally takes you over the road.
Right.
And then down. Sorry. I told you I wasn't going to point anymore. And then you take an escalator down to the ground. It was so perfect.
Yeah.
And then that's when we spotted Jason Aldean's new restaurant.
Yes.
Was right there.
Mm-hmm.
And in Point Short. It was right there. Sorry.
Yeah, and so literally you could just, and so I'm carrying like a 6-pack of water, and I think we bought candy, bought some candy.
Yeah, we had to get
bought
some
chips
chewy
and
sweet
stuff.
tarts
Sweet
and
salty.
Albanese gummy bears.
Yes, and then you got your White Claws, and that was like was that a 6-pack?
Yeah.
Too? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
those things, they're not heavy when you pick them up, but
You
after
gotta
you're
carry
walking
them.
for a while, yeah, they do get heavy. So we totally found this shortcut, and it was like go up the escalator and across, and then you go in upstairs at the Cosmo, where we went in downstairs and did this whole walk thing. So it was perfect.
Yeah.
Right? We're just like, woohoo!
Yeah.
It was so great.
It's
We
like-
didn't have to die carrying these things.
yeah, all the way through the casino and
Yeah.
out the front door. Like, yeah. At least we were saying this. At least we learned that on the first day and
Yeah.
not the 5th day.
Yeah.
That is so frustrating when you're on vacation and you like don't know something until the very end of your trip. You know.
That's very true.
right.
So true.
At
yeah.
least we figured that out.
Figured that out on our very first trip. Not that we went to Walgreens again, but
No, we thought we might just if we ran out
Exactly.
of water. But
Yeah, because I think the main thing is I like to make coffee in the room.
Yeah.
But there was no coffee maker.
No Keurig or anything.
No nothing. So usually I use a lot of water for the coffee machine.
Yeah.
And when me and my husband go, he brings a mini Keurig machine with him. So it's super cool, though. We save, I can't even tell you how much money we save every day,
By
both
drinking
of us
Keurig.
drinking out. Yeah, and we bring our little pods and the water.
Cream
It's
and sugar.
So good, yeah, bring it
Mhm.
all. So we're going to Starbucks.
Yeah.
We're having to, it's so cute because she calls it, we have to Britney Spears it, which is sunglasses.
Yeah,
'cause our-
before we get ready.
yeah,
so.
because our makeup is a mess.
Yeah, we're just sporting the day before's makeup, so
Mhm.
I always say I got a Britney Spears at Starbucks,
Yeah,
and then I put on
yeah.
my glasses
And her hair looks exactly the same when she wakes up, so there is no problem there. She might have to go like that.
oh my gosh,
Right.
well my makeup is thrashed.
I guess. I don't know. I honestly, I think we've had this conversation before. When she wakes up, she looks almost exactly the same. When she has a massage, she looks exactly the same.
Well, thank you.
I, on the other hand, am thrashed.
Well, I appreciate the compliment. I don't sleep with my lipstick, but I do have a really bad habit of sleeping with my makeup.
And I
but
do too. We're
I
really
don't
bad
have
about
any
that.
complexion challenges from it. Everybody
Yeah.
always beats me up when I tell them that I sleep with my makeup.
I know, me too.
I do because I had a roommate who used to have kidney stone attacks in the middle of the night, and we were calling 911
Oh.
to come to rescue her in the middle of the night, and I don't want to be caught with no makeup.
No makeup
So
on.
I started
I'm with
sleeping
ya.
with my makeup when I lived with my friend Angela.
That is funny.
Years ago. And then when you have a baby, you're like, you don't know what's going to happen in the middle of the
I
night.
know.
And if we have to call 911, I'm ready to go. I mean,
And-
it's still the day before his makeup.
But it's still better than that.
yeah, better
Yeah,
than
and
nothing.
I got you, girl,
Right?
because I'm the same way now. I always think, what if I have to go to ER?
Yes. I mean, you've got more to worry about.
I'm still worried about what if I have
Right?
to go to ER. I better have some makeup on.
Nope. I'm like, if
Yeah.
Steve or Brayden needs to go to ER, I'm ready.
I know.
I might even be able to do my lip liner and lipstick
Oh,
in
yeah,
the car.
Yeah, totally. You could totally do that. But anyway.
Anyways, we digress. So yeah, we
So
Britney
we
Spears
would
did
br-
and
yeah.
went to Starbucks
And we went
every
to
morning.
Starbucks in the morning, and we would get that. So anyway, so I think we did go to Starbucks first. We got up pretty early. Well, wait.
No, we're still talking about
the
Walgreens.
first day. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we
After
can't jump to the
I'm
second
jumping
day.
too far.
Okay, so here's the thing. I have a super good friend. We've
Yeah.
known each other almost 30 years. He moved to Las Vegas a year and a half ago. So when her and I were planning this trip, we were like, we always stay on the strip when we go to Vegas. And I was like, Darren, hi Darren.
Hi, Darren.
He knows his way around like
Yeah.
all the local spots, all the
Mhm.
shortcuts and all this stuff. So we actually reached out to Darren before we actually booked our trip because I was like, okay, we want to go in March,
Mhm.
and we weren't sure if we wanted to go like on the 15th of March or the 23rd, I think it was, of March or whatever. So anyways, we reached out to Darren and he said, why don't we go on the latter week, because he was going to be back in Sacramento on the week before. And the reason why I'm mentioning all these dates is because if we would have picked the week before, it was raining and storming. It was terrible here in Sacramento and in Las
Yep,
Vegas,
yep.
okay? So the week that we decided to go, it was going to be like 80 degrees, 83 degrees. It worked its way all the way up to like 91 degrees while we were in Vegas.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. We had the best weather ever.
So perfect.
Not too cold, not too hot, not windy. I mean, we had.
It wasn't even windy.
Yes, you're right. Vegas many, many times.
Yes.
And
were you either
I swear that
freezing,
was the best. Yeah,
or you're sweating
to death,
or it is so windy, like you can't even keep your hair in place.
No,
like
no, it's
and
a
it
mess.
was perfect.
It was so perfect.
So
anyway, so that was why we went the end of March.
Yeah. So I had texted Darren. We knew that he was going to be in a golf tournament all day. So I texted him. I'm like, we're here. We're checked in. Like, whenever you're done, just let us know. So we had made arrangements that he would pick us up where the Uber picks up people at 4 o'clock. And so we were ready to go.
I think he was bowling that day. He had a bowling tournament the first day.
Oh.
Remember?
He was in
town.
Yeah, it was a bowling tournament.
It was a bowling tournament.
Not a golf tournament.
Yeah,
Sorry, Darren.
That was further
He
in
went
the week.
golfing a little bit later.
Yeah,
you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for correcting me. It was a bowling tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So he picks us up at 4 o'clock. We jump in his car, and we head off. Mm-hmm. So the plan was, we're going to drive through Chinatown.
Yeah, well, yeah. Because we had talked about going to Chinatown.
Yeah, because we don't want to tell you everything that we had planned, because we're going to talk about more in the next podcast.
Right.
But we had planned that we wanted him to take us to Chinatown at some point. I didn't even know there was a Chinatown in Vegas. She did. She had been.
Yeah,
right.
And she was kind of intrigued. She's always intrigued by new foods and trying new things and all that. And the more I thought about it, though, I was thinking, because of her garlic and onion allergies, I kept thinking, I just don't know if there's anything she's going to be able to eat, because all the, the shumais and all even the baos, they're filled with meat and onions and things like that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh gosh, I don't even know if that's even going to work out. And then Darren wasn't like super excited about Chinatown, Well,
and I didn't know why he wasn't excited, because in my mind, like, I had this envisioned
San
image.
Francisco.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't even think I've ever been to Chinatown in San Francisco,
well,
even though that's 2 hours away.
That's another thing we should do.
Okay, we should do that.
Yeah.
Because I think in my mind what I envisioned is maybe pictures of what Chinatown in San Francisco looks like, where there's like just like all these like beautiful like Chinese lanterns, with like streamers and lights, and there's like restaurants and little souvenir shops
stuff,
like down both sides of the street. So that's like literally what I'm picturing.
Yes.
So as we're talking about all this, Darren's like, I don't want you to be disappointed.
Right.
Because literally, it's not like that.
No, it's a strip mall.
Yeah, and he kept saying it's a strip mall, and I'm like, I don't even know like how to envision or take my thoughts from like this, cute lantern lit street to like a strip mall. But literally, we're driving down the road, and all of a sudden, he's like, "There's Chinatown," and I'm like, "You're funny," and he's like, "No, I'm serious."
I'm like, "No, that isn't."
What? Like, it literally was. Like, so on both sides of the street, there was just, like, tons of Chinese restaurants and karate places and...
bakeries, stuff like that. Yeah, which I love all that stuff. And I don't normally get to go because we don't have a car when we go.
Yeah.
And to take an Uber and go to Chinatown and take an Uber back... That just gets expensive, when if you just stay in town and go to Din Tai Fung or something over at Aria, then that's like an extra $50 you're spending
just
going back and forth. Yeah. So you'd rather just stay there. So.
Yeah.
But one of the funny things that when we were driving out there was Darren kept talking about the state flower.
Oh, yeah.
Of Nevada. Yeah, and he kept saying that, there's a lot of the state flowers out here. And I'm like, oh, really? And he goes, the orange big flower. And I kept going, oh, well, California's, is the golden poppy. That's funny that it's orange, too.
Yeah, because because there was a ton of construction going on.
Yeah.
And so there was caution cones everywhere. And I picked up on what Darren was putting down really fast. Because he was like, oh, there's the state flower again. And then we, go down another street. And he's like, there's more state flowers.
I'm looking around.
I'm like, Darren, you're so funny. And then Cynthia starts talking about the California poppy. And I'm like, wow, she is just like feeding jumping right into this, like throwing off these one-liners about the California poppy, and I could see how that would look like one upside down, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
she's totally going, going right along with this story. And we never.
I was serious.
No.
Oh my God. And we didn't find out till the last day.
The last day.
No, I was so serious.
She did not know that Darren was calling a caution cone in Las Vegas their state
Their
flower.
state flower. I thought it was a big orange flower, and I kept looking for it.
You are so funny. So Darren doesn't know this either.
No.
I don't. Was he with us when we put? Oh, he was. He was taking us
He
back
took
to
us
the
to the
airport.
airport at the end,
Yes,
yeah.
and that's when we
And
put
that's
two
when
and
we
two
put
together.
it together, and Marilyn's going, what?
I thought you
I
knew.
thought you knew. And I'm like, no, I was dead serious. Going,
Right.
wow, it's a big orange flower.
And the funny thing was that there was no orange flowers.
I kept trying to look for them.
That
And then
is
he goes,
so funny.
they pop up everywhere.
Yes!
And I said, well, the golden poppies pop up all over the place
You did say that. You're
I
like, yeah, they
know.
bloom in the randomest
Because
places.
I know what my thought process.
Yes, because they do. They're just wildflower.
Yeah, they're all over the place. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was hilarious. So, anyways, yeah.
I don't
so,
claim to have a lot of brain cells.
That's okay, right?
Oh my goodness,
So,
that was pretty funny.
we did get a
But
good laugh out of that.
Yes, we did.
But Darren's cousins play in a band, and it was Mike and David, and so
It was Mike.
yeah, he goes by Mike. Yeah, Mike Brown. Hi, Mike, if you're watching.
Yeah.
And but David wasn't playing that night, so we didn't get to see David.
Yeah.
He's actually recovering from cancer treatments and stuff too. So, anyways, but he just wasn't working that night, so we didn't get to see him. But let me tell you, Mike was amazing.
He was super cool.
Yeah, we got some really cute pictures. We'll post some of those too. But anyways, Darren wouldn't tell us what kind of music he plays. So he goes, you just have to wait and find out.
Yeah, and it was at a piano bar.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm thinking, because I knew it was a dueling piano bar. So and he kept saying, though, that he plays the trumpet and that David played the sax, right? Yeah. And so when we got there, I can't remember the other gentleman's name that was playing with Mike.
I can't do
But he was playing piano.
Keyboard.
So he just had a keyboard. You're right.
Yeah.
So they weren't even on the dueling pianos.
No.
The one guy was on keyboards, and then Cool Mike was playing the trumpet.
Right.
So so it was. In my mind, it was dueling pianos.
Yeah.
I had no idea, and he like you said, he
wouldn't
let on.
He wouldn't tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But then we get there, and
That
it
was
was
great.
just like the party was already started.
Yeah.
He was so awesome. Like he was like jumping up on the bar and like dancing
and
like
having and playing the best music.
Yeah, so it was like all like, what would you call it? Like groovy, funky,
Yeah.
R&B, like brick house.
Celebration.
Yeah, like music like that.
So
Like
great.
stuff that you cannot
Back in the 90s.
stay in your seat and not dance to. Like we were even dancing in our
It was
chair.
great. It was so great.
Yeah, it was
mean,
so fun.
yeah.
I loved that was how we started off our,
I know,
our
right?
vacation. It was so much fun.
That was super fun. I was already tired.
Well, it was a long day. We got up super early to catch our flight, right?
I know. It was. I was already like, I danced like 2 dances where us 3 are all up there, me, Marilyn, and Darren, and I'm like, okay, I gotta sit down.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
like age is catching up with me here,
Oh
right?
my gosh, right?
Yeah. Then
we were leaving.
and this is at Harrah's.
Yeah, we're in
in
the
Harrah's,
Harrah's casino.
Yes.
So we had obviously parked in the Harrah's parking garage.
Yes.
And when you park, you have to
Grab your
push a
ticket.
button and pull the little ticket out. And then when you leave, you pop it in a different machine, and it tells you how much you owe.
Right, and then the arm goes up, of course,
Yeah,
right?
then you leave.
Yeah. So we go to leave. And Darren's got the ticket in his back pocket.
Yeah.
So it did bend a little bit.
Just a little.
But not like it was all crunched up or crinkled up or anything. And so we drive up there and pop in the ticket, and it spits it back out.
Yeah.
Pop in the ticket, spits it back out. And he must have tried like 6 times
Yeah.
to get that thing to work, and it would not work at all.
And we hit the call button.
So finally I said, let's call. So that thing rang
Rang,
and rang and rang. Nobody ever picks up. Well, we can't get out.
Yeah.
Because the arm will not go up. So I think he was getting a little frustrated, because that stupid ticket
and
wouldn't
we're
work.
at a machine that we're not in the car yet. Like, there's a machine that you can try right as you walk into the parking garage. So
I was already at the other machine.
Yeah, because we tried this machine.
That's right. We tried the
machine.
first machine first. I forgot about that.
So, and that one didn't work. So Darren was like, don't worry about it. Let's just try the one that's on the exit where the arm goes up. So then we got in the car and we drove over to that one, and Darren pops it in the machine and it spits it out, says failed. And we're like, what the heck? This one's not working either.
Yeah, and now we're stuck.
Yeah.
Because now you're parked here and the arm is right in front of you.
Totally.
And I was so worried that there was
gonna be people
or
behind
spikes
us.
Or spikes.
Oh,
you know?
the backup
I was so worried about
spikes.
spikes.
Yeah.
So then that's when I hit the call button. So I hit the call, and that's when it rang and rang and rang and rang. Nothing came out. So we're just like, gosh, what are we gonna do? We're like stuck,
Yeah.
So he's like, he goes, well, we're gonna back up and I'm gonna go talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I hope there's no spikes. So he just, puts it in reverse and goes, zoop. And, oh my gosh, crunch.
Poor Darren.
I know, his side mirror hit the machine and it cracked his side mirror. The mirror
popped
hanging out. And we're
Sorry,
like,
Darren. We still feel terrible
we do.
about
we still
that.
feel bad about it.
Because, you're just trying to hurry up and
you're frustrated
figure it out. And we had plans to go have dinner at Jason Aldean's. And so anyhow, I just felt horrible.
Oh my gosh.
So anyways, Darren goes and talks to somebody.
But I do have to give Darren kudos and a pat on the back because he was so freaking calm.
He was.
I mean,
Cynthia mentioned that later.
I did.
I don't think we told Darren this because
didn't.
There are men out there, and you know who you are.
Yeah.
Where you go instant hothead.
Oh my gosh.
And it ruins your trip, and you can't focus on anything else, and
except
you feel like
your
the
car mirror.
Yeah. And it ruins your day.
Up. Yeah.
And Darren, he is always so chill and so sweet.
Level-headed.
And he was just like, well, shoot. And we moved on.
We moved on. Yeah.
So when Darren was going to talk to somebody, I told Cynthia, I recently saw a YouTube video where it happens when you go through the car wash. It bends your mirror back and, and then the mirror pops out and apparently the mirror pops back in.
Yeah.
So I kind of jumped out while he was talking to somebody and I popped it back in.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if it was popped in correctly, but it did stay.
It did, at least his mirror
wasn't hanging out.
Yeah, but I think what it did is it popped in, but it was cracked.
Yeah,
so the
plastic.
outside was cracked. So hopefully, until he can get it fixed, you can put that black electrical tape on it because it's black, and you wouldn't be able to see it, at least to hold the crack closed.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But anyhow, sorry, Darren.
We felt really bad about that because here we are, if it wasn't for us, if he wouldn't been there and done that.
Yeah, it wouldn't have happened.
So,
we called him our Duber driver.
Yeah.
Darren's our Uber. Anyways, I thought that was cute.
So we get to the third. So anyway, so the lady, said try another machine, right?
Yeah.
Because this one hadn't worked.
There was 3 lanes.
Plus we'd already probably busted it after the mirror.
Oh, I did look at it. There was nothing wrong with the machine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Only because I took out an A&W machine once doing that with my son.
Oh, shoot.
When I was a kid. Yeah, when I was 16, I totally took out a machine. But anyway, we won't talk about that right now. So anyway, so we go to the third one now.
Yeah.
Now we're at the third machine. And I guess the lady he had talked to said, okay, I know you're there, so if it doesn't work, hit the call button.
Yeah.
Right? So go to the third one, and he tries it again. No, that stupid ticket just keeps spitting out. And we're just like, what the heck? So anyway, so he hits the call button, and he's looking over this way, waiting for the lady to answer. Well, the arm automatically went up
popped
as soon
up.
as he hit that call button, and I said, go!
I know, make a run for it. Let's just get the heck out of here. We wasted a half an hour or so,
and so he's cracking up, and he's like, oh, God. He tore out of there. And we didn't pay.
No, we didn't pay. I mean, we tried.
Yeah, we've tried.
We tried so many times to pay.
Yeah, and I think the lady knew that we'd been trying and trying, so she knew when the call button hit, it was us, and so she just push the arm
She just
up.
pushed it up. She probably felt sorry for us.
So we got free parking.
Well, and they have cameras all over there, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
She
They
probably
would've
saw
totally-
that he broke his mirror.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she knew their machines can withstand it. I mean, it's in a parking garage. So,
yeah.
anyways,
Anyway.
that was terrible. But we made our way out of there, and we made our way over to Jason Aldean's new bar.
Yes.
And
very
Darren
cool.
had actually gone to that
that's right,
bar
the opening.
on opening night. Yes,
Lucky
it
Darren.
totally matters who you know.
That's
Because
for sure.
Darren knew the right person and got to go to the opening night at Jason Aldean's restaurant. And Jason Aldean was performing. And during the concert, he was totally sending me videos and pictures. Like,
That's so cool.
Jason Aldean was literally like right there on opening night. Like he was sitting so
there,
close to him.
wow.
It was so cool. So anyways, but no, Jason Aldean wasn't there.
No, but they were a
When we had
band, so
dinner.
it was a pretty cool place
Yeah.
because they had one band, so it's 3 stories. Was it 3 or 2? 2 stories.
2 stories.
So they have one band downstairs and one band upstairs.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to eat though. We were pretty hungry by then
Yeah.
because we hadn't really eaten anything.
No.
Right? Oh, we got a pastry. That's right.
Oh yeah, we had gotten a pastry at the hotel.
So that's all we'd eaten,
Yeah.
other than the little thing we ate at the lounge.
Yeah,
in
and
the
Darren had
morning.
dropped us off so that we could go right up there and
Yes, get a seat,
get a
get a
seat.
table. Yeah.
And we all wanted to sit on the second floor because it actually overlooks the strip. And so that's
Good
where we
people
went.
watch.
Yeah. And Darren had told us about these nachos that he said were like to
Yes.
die for. So I was like, well, let's just get a spot and then we could start ordering some food. And we told Darren we'll just order a bunch of stuff and then we can all share it. Well, I noticed that the nachos weren't on the menu. So then when
Right.
the server came over to take our order, she said, oh, at the second floor, it's a limited menu. So if you want the nachos, you have to go down to the bottom floor, which was fine too because
Yeah.
there was kind of like, it was
It
like
was a
an
patio.
open outside area, but like the second story kind of hung over.
Yeah, so you could see more down.
Well, it was
Where?
like covering you, so you weren't like getting the sun on you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The second story, you mean?
The second story like is
Was
built
open.
over like the patio
Yes,
on
so,
the first floor.
So when you're on the first floor, you're covered on top.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah. So
yes.
you don't have to worry about the sun beating on you.
Right.
But it was a beautiful
Oh
night.
my gosh, it was gorgeous.
And we could hear the band playing inside. It was so great.
Yeah.
So we ordered
my
the
gosh.
nachos, we got sliders, we got buffalo wings, and we got margarita pizza.
margarita pizza.
Yeah.
And these nachos were so different than any nacho I've ever had. So they're made not with tortilla chips like a regular nacho. They are made with homemade kettle chips. So freaking good.
Well, I didn't get to try them.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Because they
You
had
that
seasoning,
queso. Yeah, the
and they
queso
had
cheese thing.
each potato chip had seasoning on it
Oh,
already.
okay.
Because I had pulled one little tiny
Just
chip
a
out
chip?
just
Okay.
to try it, and I was like, oh yeah, definitely has onion or garlic powder
man.
on it. And then there
Sorry.
was like a queso cheese.
So there was a queso cheese.
poured all over it that had garlic or onion. I'm not sure.
Well, then they had this pulled pork on it, and oh my gosh, it was so
I
good.
wish-
I could have just sat there and ate that whole. I mean, I tried.
She did.
That-
There
those
was
potato
so
chips.
many. That
Our table was
piled with food.
and we'll post pictures. But
Yeah.
we look like a family of 8.
Serious.
Was
And the
it?
funny thing was, you and Darren were both eating those nachos.
Yeah.
And you barely made a dent in them.
I know. I just couldn't believe it. It was just like we kept eating and eating and eating, and it was like nothing was going away. And it was.
It was like the everlasting nacho.
I mean, we had so much food on our table. The table behind us was going, "What'd you guys order?
Yeah.
Like, what's that and what's that?" And
Because
you
they
know,
wanted to
because
try to figure out what
yeah.
they wanted to get.
Because there was so much. It's like it looked like we had ordered like one thing off the whole menu
Yeah,
or something,
yeah.
you know. But luckily, the food didn't go to waste because I never even ate the margarita pizza.
It was delicious.
I never ate and those are Wagyu beef sliders.
Oh, the Wagyu beef
hamburger
sliders?
Yeah, I
Those
never
were
ate one of those
so
because I got too full.
Yeah, and honestly, I couldn't eat the nachos or what was the other thing?
Oh, the wings? Because
Oh, yeah.
they were dry rubbed.
They were
yeah.
dry rubbed, and I love chicken wings.
Me too.
So I couldn't eat that. So I could only eat the slider or the margarita pizza.
Right.
And so, anyways,
So
but
anyway,
the
she ate
Wagyu-
those, and those are the 2 I didn't eat. So it
Yeah.
worked out really well.
Yeah.
But we had so much food left over.
Yeah.
And luckily, Darren was able to take it home.
Yeah,
Because
I-
I thought, oh my God.
I
would
hate
to
wasting food.
Waste all that food.
Yeah.
So he ate it for breakfast the next day.
Yeah, no, I thought that was cute.
That was cute. It was like, oh, yay, I'm so glad we didn't waste the food.
Yeah.
And you got to enjoy it a second time.
Exactly.
And yeah.
And it was so nice, too, because Jason Aldean's bar is, like, so close to the Cosmopolitan.
Just right on the walkway.
Yeah, so we made our way back to the Cosmo where we're staying, and there's this bar, and we'll post pictures of that, too. It is so gorgeous. It's called the Chandelier Bar, and it is dripping with clear crystal.
It's gorgeous.
So it literally looks like a massive chandelier.
It is
a
massive
just
chandelier.
hanging everywhere. There's like curtains of these crystals.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And they're looped and draped, and it's like so beautiful and elegant. So anyways, apparently there's not a lot of places in Vegas that you can smoke a cigar.
Right. That's why they're opening up a lot of cigar lounges.
Yes.
Because people now, they don't want smoke around them, especially cigars, because cigars are even more potent than a cigarette,
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're starting to...
But I'd sure rather smell a cigar than a cigarette smoke,
Yeah.
But anyhow,
Not
so
me.
Darren knew that you can smoke a cigar in the
Chandelier Lounge.
Yeah. So we just made our way over there. And one of our favorite things to do is people watch. And Darren had said he liked doing that too. So anyways, and you see all kinds of really unique individuals in Vegas. So
you do.
we had super fun. We just sat in the Chandelier
I think
bar.
I gambled a little bit, didn't I?
Oh yeah, you did.
I think I went out and gambled a little bit.
Just for a little bit.
Yeah, and then came back, and then we just sat there and chatted, and then we were pooped. It was
Yeah.
about 10 o'clock, by 10 p.m.
Yeah, when we
And
finally called it a day.
Yeah, we were pretty pooped out, and so, yeah, that was day one of
That was
Vegas.
day one. We
Yeah.
packed in a lot. Honestly, I feel like, especially usually the first day of your vacation is kind of just like a chill day. You kind of get settled in. You got a little jet lag or whatever. But we were like, no, we hit the ground running. Thanks to Darren.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Anyhow.
Exactly. And, too, on top of it, normally when I go somewhere, 2 nights I can live out of a suitcase, but 3 nights I usually unpack. We were staying for 4 nights.
Yeah.
But we couldn't unpack anything because we were crossing our fingers and
Yes.
hoping to get a terrace room the next day.
So we were literally living out of the
suitcase.
Yeah. And so, anyhow, if you guys want to find out if we got a balcony room, you're going to have to stay tuned for part 2 of our Viva Las Vegas trip.
Yes.
Because we just cannot pack everything that we did in those 5 days
Oh my
into
gosh.
one episode.
I know.
So you're just going to have to come back.
Yeah.
We know you will. But
Yes,
anyways.
because you want to hear about all our other escapades.
Yes.
that we have.
Stuff always seems to happen when her and I are together.
I'm telling you.
So anyways, we're super excited to be able to share the rest of our trip
yes,
with you guys.
we are.
And we appreciate you hanging out with us.
Yeah.
And of course, we always got to say, please subscribe. Please hit the like button. If you hit the bell notification, you'll be notified every time we drop an episode.
Yep.
And if you happen to forget, it's every Wednesday at
Yes.
6 a.m. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and our handle is Girl Talk and Shenanigans Podcast. And recently, we opened up a TikTok account too, so you can find us on TikTok at Girl Talk and Shenanigans without the word podcast. So, anyhow, we appreciate you guys,
Yep.
and we hope we'll see you on the next one.
Yep. Catch you next Wednesday.
Bye.